Thank you for joining us. We are now about to begin our panel on shifting public health paradigms in the development of a vaccine in partnership with STHORM. Please feel free to enter questions in the Q&A tab on the right side of the screen. The moderator will take them at the end if time permits. I will now hand things over to our moderator, Sandra Ro of the GBBC.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. I'm super excited to introduce our next speakers who are going to talk about a real initiative that happened right in the middle of the pandemic, but actually a project that they've been working on for years. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Pablo to please give us just a quick overview of STHORM and what the Viral Cure initiative has actually been about.
Hi, Sandra. Good to see you. We all miss you here. So first, thank you everyone for joining us in this session. So next to me here is Esper, my good friend Esper, Professor Esper, Professor Giovanni. And basically what STHORM is like a tech lab. We do like, we develop platforms to go after big problems. One of these problems is health. Okay? And we've been working with Esper for 3 years from now, more or less, and helping him to his research. So for dengue, Zika, yellow fever. And when this pandemic started, he called me and said more about the financial health of autonomous clinics. And autonomous clinics is the most important piece of the entire public system in Brazil. It's not only for São Paulo itself, but for the entire country. And what we did, we changed a little bit Viral Cure, a platform that we were developing for tokenized patents, and we create like a marketplace, but the marketplace for outfunding strategy. Not only crowdfunding, that's the donation button, but we created several different products that to bring brands and to help the public industry to go through the process. That's more or less how everything happened.
Dr. Kallas, could you please introduce yourself a bit? I know Paulo just did, and I want to actually say before, I should have said this earlier. Thank you guys for gathering together at STHORM's offices in Sao Paulo and setting an example of masked up, distanced, and yet you are still sharing the same space. So thank you for that. Dr. Kallas, you've been passionate about Viral Cure, a number of different initiatives. You are a leading world expert. When the pandemic hit, please tell us some of the thinking that came through your mind and what has happened now, and and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Sandra, it's a pleasure to see you again. As we met some time ago, so long time no see. I hope to have you here again anytime soon to discuss these important issues. So my name is Esper Kallas. I'm an infectious diseases specialist, and I am a full professor at the University of São Paulo, working on the Department of Infectious Diseases and Parasitic Diseases for quite a while. And the nature of a tropical and semi-tropical country, we've always faced challenges in terms of emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases. Just to give one recent example, early 2018, early 2019, we had a big outbreak here of yellow fever, a disease that we thought would be totally under control, even with a vaccine that's available. Unfortunately, we faced a few hundred cases. 36% of those people died of this disease. It was pretty dramatic. So we keep finding ourselves in rethinking how these pathogens come in are a challenge to the quality of life for our population. But nothing came before to prepare us for what we were about to see, which was this COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, we were here for quite a while studying this, but only in the end of February we saw it knocking on Brazil's door, and we need to go through it intensively during these past few months.
Well, we're going to talk more specifically about exactly what you guys did, but I want to move on to Giovanni, who's also joined us to share with us. Please tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved with the project and interacting with, obviously, our esteemed other panelists here.
Hello, Sandra. It's a pleasure talking a little bit about our experience related to the fight against COVID-19 here in our university hospital. I am Giovanni Cerri, professor of radiology and president of innovation in our institution. Os Kallas Clínicas, that is the University Hospital of linked to the medical school of the University of São Paulo. It's the largest medical institution in Brazil and the most important in research and assistance in the public system. And we put the effort of innovation, all our innovation structure to work in trying to find solutions to reduce the problem of COVID in our hospital. Just to have an idea, Kallas Clínicas, the University Hospital, was able to structure 300 intensive care beds in just a few weeks, just to COVID patients, and also 600 beds of medium complexity for patients with not very serious disease. And we had the opportunity to receive more than 5,000 serious patients that needed intensive care beds in our hospital during these 6 months of COVID. So it was a very big effort fighting against the disease, and we put all our innovation structure to work together with our doctors and our nurses to give the better assistance to our patients.
So Giovanni, you raised an excellent point about in the middle of chaos and pandemic to try to coordinate with so many different stakeholders. And the hospital is the largest public one in the region. Pablo, can you talk a little bit about how did you manage to gather and crowdfund so many people together to raise the funds that you did? You know, what did that require from your side? Can you walk us through a little bit about that?
I think first is Giovanni's open mind to accept us inside, to invite us to look at that like me, you know, tattoos and big hair, and say, well, we have an idea to help you guys to bring the money to fight the crisis. So this is the most important part. The hospital was open to new ideas, to innovation. So what we saw, something that was really specific for this crisis, that we have one enemy that hits the entire planet, but we have so many problems locally that we have never seen the number of crowdfunding campaigns that we had during this pandemic. So that's really hard to go after people and say, okay, can you donate for my cause? It's very expensive.
Exactly. How about money over here? Yeah.
So that was a challenge because we had to educate people. Okay, this is a hospital, and that's the biggest hospital in Latin America, and you might need it. So we saw in the very first 10 days that crowdfunding was not enough, so we shifted a little bit and we started to create products. You know, okay, let's go after brands. We have to go after the marketing money. I'm not saying that the brands don't want to help, but when you bring this opportunity together, you combine things. It's way easier to bring the money. You know, so and the hospital again, all the professors, I told them we need to use the brand, the hospital brand, to bring more money. Can we use? And it's a public hospital. It's very hard to make things like very political place. But they did, and they were very open-minded because of what I said. And I think Professor Giovanni built a mindset inside that now innovation is blooming there. You know, so I think that the key was they were open to innovation. That for me that was the key.
So you had open-mindedness, which is a big cultural shift in many ways from day-to-day behavior sometimes. So you had that a major ingredient. But Pablo, can you go through some of the numbers of how much you guys raised? And then also, what are you planning on doing now and into the next step? What is the next level for this initiative?
Okay, so the numbers, how we set the operation. We set like a place inside the hospital. There's like the crisis unit there. So that unit was responsible to call all the grants and to talk with everyone, big donors, and say, okay, there's opportunity here, and you need to help. You need to help us to raise this money. So there was this one. The platform, online platform, was more for the campaign because we threw out like a huge campaign, a marketing campaign, and everybody helped us. So we had over 100 celebrities helping us to spread this message that we call HC com Vida. That means HC, Autonomous Clínicas with life, and also invite. So Vida has dual meaning in Portuguese. So the online platform that we set up raised over 31 million reais, something around $8 million, and we had big donations. I don't like to call donations something because I think that one of the very important things is that mindset that the hospital brought is that money for life, for health, is not charity, it's investment. But okay, let's go back to the donation. We had big donors that they need a different structure that wasn't ready online for them. So all these big ones, they went through the crisis unit, and together we're talking about something around $11 million plus $3 to $5 million in press. So everybody knows, like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they all gave us a lot of media to use. So that was really important to get this number. So total, I think it's almost 100 million reais if you put it all together, because we have also in-kind donations, all kind of in-kind donations. So that's
amazing.
This is more or less the numbers.
So, I mean, and what you guys have effectively done is in the middle of, a pandemic, you rallied together a government public institution, largest of its kind in the region, plus individuals at the grassroots level to care and want to devote their time and money and effort to something as an investment, not just charity. Yes. And I think Pablo made an excellent point here about how blockchain and tokenization is challenging models. Dr. Kallas, could you talk to us about how you see the power of this now that you've actually accomplished this? How do you see the power of this going forward for other projects? And how can people learn from what you guys have done in Brazil? How can other doctors learn? How can other hospitals learn?
Well, I couldn't underscore more what Pablo said, that the importance of this kind of investment was crucial for our success in accepting some huge amount of patients that came to our institution that Giovanni just described. And I must also say that despite we see patients all the time, we take care of a large institution, we lack the knowledge how to reach out to the population, to the social, and how to construct this platform. And without Pablo, we would never accomplish this, because he was someone, as a key person to bring these two forces together. Otherwise, we would see people wishing to invest, wishing to help us, wishing to contribute to the cause. We would see on the other side a massive number of health employees devoting their time and even their lives caring for these severe patients. But the connection was missing, and this connection was brought up by STHORM. It was crucial to have this kind of knowledge and platforms to play an important role in establishing a network in our society.
Amazing. Agree with you. What you've accomplished is truly pioneering collaboration. Giovanni, your thoughts on how you all came together should be a model know that others can learn from. What are your thoughts around, how you see what else can be done around this kind of example of human spirit?
Sandra, between many negative points of this pandemic, I could see a very positive point that was solidarity. We received a very strong support from the society. Companies and people decided to help our public structure. They knew how important we are in the assistance to the population, and they decided to contribute with donation, with physical effort, with volunteers, and happily we had STHORM as another company that decided to help us, and they had a platform ready to help us to receive all these contributions and to also to divulge in the media, and we working together. We were very successful in obtaining more resources to the hospital and to open more beds and having equipments that were very difficult to obtain at that time. And the idea is not stopping here, but having this process also in the future, particularly helping research, and now at the moment with COVID-19, but also in the future in other diseases, and having this process in a permanent way in our hospital. So I think the contribution of STHORM and Pablo was very important, and this relationship between Pablo and Esper and the work that they were doing together before helped a lot to understand what our hospital is doing for the population and how STHORM could help us to accomplish our work and how we could establish a permanent relation.
Giovanni, I cannot thank you enough for bringing up the point about how critical it is that it's not just about raising money and rallying around COVID-19. It is around support by the community, by the society of a public hospital as large as yours is, with continued sustained support. Dr. Jamie Wells in the previous session highlighted, we need to go beyond just being reactionary. We need to be planning. We need to be doing research. We need to understand it's going to be with us. Lots of different diseases are with us forever, at least through our lives. And so we need to continue to support throughout. So with that, Pablo, can you talk a little bit about viral cure in the future? What are some of your next concrete steps? What are your vision and dreams for how else we can expand this and how we can support you as a community?
Sure. Can I just say some numbers that I think is very important to understand?
Yes, this crowd likes numbers. Absolutely.
Okay, because I spent like 5 months inside the hospital, and I have to say, I don't want to be misunderstood here, but it was amazing, see what they were doing inside that place, and they saved more than 4,000 lives. So they were only getting very critical conditions patients, not a lot, So that was remarkable, and the way that everybody, from the ambulance driver to the doctor inside the intensive care unit, they all were loving, to the opportunity to save lives. So the way they do work, the way that they vote, over delivering like every day, and be exposed to that risk, because they lost people there a lot. But I have to say they have the lower mortality, right, among all the hospitals in Latin America. So they also know how to deal with this. So this is the number that matter a lot. So that, you know, and how the hospital played probably the most important role on the crisis in Brazil. You know, and there's 22,000 people working there. You know, it's a huge. It's like it's the basis of the entire public system in Brazil. Even the private could not exist without the academia that is inside. Because it's a university hospital, like Giovanni said. So those numbers are really, really the most important ones. So the future is like, they found Vargas. They are founders. Because the platform before them was something really focused on how can we include people into the finance system. Because the thing is for us is that we are a corporation are not allowed to bet in science. We can bet in lottery, but we cannot bet in science. You know, if some breakthrough, new patent, product, startup is coming, it's very hard to population to have a tool to invest on this. You know this, and blockchain is the answer for that. So the future, we are changing the product from a very crisis-focused platform, because like few missions really driven to, okay, what do we need today? We need ambulance. What do we need tomorrow? We need new intensive care rooms. What do we need? So that was the product in the first place. Now we shift into something that is community-driven, mission-driven. And the hospital is the center of this new product, because they open up again the doors for us for innovation, and they are helping us to choose everything there that can become something to like it can become a breakthrough new discovery for science. And they're gonna use the platform to fund those small groups of scientists that have today only one option. You know, go to a bank, go to a friend, family, and say, oh, I have this idea. I want to cure cancer. I have this idea. I want to do this or that. So we are creating a new layer, and the hospital embraces us. So the new product, the V2, is open source. Everyone can use all around the world. It's like a Lego, and was found inside Inova. So this is the future. We more or less, we show people a glance.
Sorry to interrupt you, Pablo, but just to be clear, you're basically adding an entire potential governance layer to participation in what gets funded. I mean, this is very profound, and I think people should take pause and think about this. You know, if you crowdfund $11 equivalent in reais, and then all of a sudden you have the right to actually vote for where it goes, this is unprecedented.
Yeah, unprecedented, I sorry to say that, is public hospital or entity the size of Estados Clínicas embrace this kind of thinking, of philosophy. This is unprecedented. And when you unite those things, you know, I think that we can create amazing things and change. So
let me add to that
And
one comment.
yes, please.
The science is changing, and after decades doing science in infectious diseases, something that's profound happened, which was usually we see science, a bunch of nerds sitting in a bench in a lab, trying to come up with an idea, and then pushing this down the throat of the entire population. Now, what needs to change more profoundly is that we need to reverse this equation. Basically, the desire to do science and the needs to be established by the society and the community. And that was seen. We saw this push brought up by the HIV/AIDS research, because if you go back in time, in the early 80s, when we saw this pandemic coming up, we didn't know how to react. And the first research came in reaction to this, as we are seeing COVID-19 these days. But this dialogue with the community was sort of missing in this equation. And that brought the community together. So they came, they started demanding for new drugs, demanding for new research, demanding for new ways to prevent the HIV transmission. And that changed the field. I mean, now, since the early research in HIV, every group has a participation of the society. We have a community advisory board. We have a community education group working with us. This needs to be fundamental in going forward with our research. And what Pablo is describing is exactly this kind of philosophy brought up to the heart of the research. And that's our goal. If we put together with us a bunch of nerds sitting in a lab bench, a bunch of people in the community that say, why are you doing this stupid research? Do something that will help ameliorate and decrease my suffering. So that's what we need to do. That's what science needs to do onwards.
Yeah, collaboration. Collaboration.
And guys, this is coming from a doctor, so listen to him. All scientists. Giovanni, I'm going to let you have the last few minutes. We want to get your thoughts about, this amazing collaboration. What is your vision? What is your dream for how this continues and evolves? What would you like to see? And frankly, I think you guys need to do a case study so that the world hears about what you have done.
Help us, we can do it.
We will help you write it, absolutely. But we need to work with the, academic institution as well.
I know. Going back a little bit in the history of our medical school was founded because of a donation from the Rockefeller Foundation more than 100 years ago. And this investment of the Rockefeller Foundation has transformed our medical school in the most important center of research and assistance in Brazil. Now we are reproducing more or less the same effort of the Rockefeller Foundation in the last century. So we are, the society is working together with us in a big effort of investing in research, transforming medicine, bringing more innovation, and helping our population to obtain a better healthcare. And this transformation is very important, and this partnership also is a good example of how the society has to work together to improve the quality and the access to medicine. It's I think we've learned a lot with this pandemic. We learned a lot that we need to have less politics in science, in medicine. We need to follow the experts. We need to work together and to obtain better results and to avoid a situation like this one that we are living at the moment. And working with more technology, with more cooperation, we could avoid in the future some experience like we've had this year. I think we have to learn, and we have to try to bring the positive experience during this year, and together with innovation, with technology, improve the quality of medicine in the future.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, we could easily talk for another hour, but we're at the end of our time. I just want to thank each of you for, number one, making the effort to, get together as you have. We thank you for your time. Anyone who is interested should follow STHORM. Please sign up. This is an unprecedented open access, open source initiative that has implications for, and frankly, a model of how different groups of people can cooperate. And thank you for that. And I turn it back over to our members. Follow these guys. There's going to be a lot more to come.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sandra. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you next week.